Luke, this week we need to have a very serious show and not fall apart at any time.
Of course, Dave.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Britcast. I'm David Birch, also known as Remedy Live, and I'm joined, as always, by the only man that checks his pocket watch, not just for the time, but just for a moment to imagine that he is the next Doctor Who. Hello, Luke Riley.
Hello there, Dave. How are you?
I'm good. So this week we've got a fair bit to talk about. I think it's going to be a bit of a random moaning about Wii U. I think we can squeeze a bit in that in there. Talking about the pit drop-off in what people are playing now they know about the next gen, and a very few bits and pieces about what we've been playing. Does that sound alright to you?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, sound. So, how you been? It's been a long week, hasn't it?
Seems like that. It's been a slow week for games. I've been on the one or two, but not very many.
No. Well, then let's just, I'll tell you what we'll get into, because one thing that's been bugging me is the Wii U, and probably bugging a fair few people that are listening out there as well. Have you got one, Luke? Let's just start with that. No, you haven't, no. You got any interest in buying one?
For the next Zelda, maybe, but not as of right now.
No, nothing that jumps out and grabs you.
Not necessarily.
No, there's nothing on the horizon either that'll make you change your mind.
Well, I've heard, the only game I've heard what's making blocky waves is the Lego City Undercover game.
Well, yeah. Well, we'll come across that one in just a moment. But what I would say with the Wii U in general was, it's one thing we were talking about is the fact that 3 million people purchased that console up until December last year. And the recent amount of figures that were shown that they've only sold like 66,000 as of this year, come the end of February. Now, one thing we were saying that's probably got something to do with the announcement of, say, the next PlayStation and probably more rumours about the next Xbox. But I've got to say, I think Nintendo, this is their last console, isn't it? With the way this one's going.
Do you really think that is? Do you think they'll just go to making games or handheld?
I really, really do. I mean, I've had a lot of time now with the Wii U, and what I'm finding with it, it doesn't feel like it's next gen. It doesn't feel like its operating systems, the speed of it, what it can do, is anything near to a next gen. It puts it probably just beneath an Xbox, in my opinion. There's not really a whole heap going on with it. And I know there's a lot of people said in the review, but that Lego City game, wow, the loading times are something special on that.
So everyone's been saying as well. That and there's another game that's just come out where the loading time's terrible. SimCity.
Yeah. Well, SimCity's got all the DRM, the always online sort of issues and the loading times. That's one thing, because that's a system that EA needs to get sorted out in general. But I mean, the Wii U, it's a console, it's booting, it's loading, the disc is in the machine. And I have had time to check Twitter in between the thing loading from one screen to the next, with that god-awful repetitive music that happens in every loading screen. No, it's bad. And then what I was looking at as well is the fact that there just isn't much coming out at all for it. It seems to have like died a death now. I mean, you say about the next Zelda, is there anything out there that you're looking forward to that you would buy a Wii U for?
Probably the only game that comes to mind is Zelda, because that's the only game for like a Nintendo's first party standpoint what would really benefit from HD, because it's a fantasy game. Mario, I don't understand why that would be good in HD. Pikmin, not even remotely interested. So probably like, if there was two games I could think of where I'd run to the Wii U, and that would be a HD Zelda and a HD Starwing / Lilac Wars. If there was a HD Starwing, there would be copious amounts of splooge.
Yeah, I mean, if they went like the Mario 60, the open world type of Mario game that they went for on the N64, would that bring you over?
Might possibly, but still Zelda and like if there was a Wii U Starwing announced, that'd be so good, because that game was immense.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I was looking at the Star Fox 3D
Yeah.
from the N64 game, which has been brought over and given the 3D treatment. I was looking at picking that up, but that's on the handheld. But
There was that random game for the GameCube called Star Fox Adventures where you're running around the planet as opposed to being in the ship.
yeah, you were on the ship for a little bit when you had to land on the planet.
Hmm.
I played that game to death, where you had your staff and it was all sort of all
Did you enjoy
different.
it? Was it good? I remember playing a little bit of it, but I don't remember. I didn't finish it.
I did enjoy it, but I think that's because I enjoyed Star Fox. I mean, that was the original game that when I got my SNES bundle, that was the thing that was in the box. So I've got that kind of affinity for it. You always remember the game that you got with your console, especially when you were younger, when it was cartridge based, as it were, and your mum or your dad had to go
I'm
out and
trying to think because I remember because there were the days when you had it was always the normal crappy console box, and then if you got a bundle, the box art was always really awesome.
yeah.
It was a different box art from the game cover, or was on the cartridge. And I'm trying to think what mine was. I think my SNES one, possibly. I remember it was just a normal SNES box, and I got like a bunch of games with it.
Mm. I think most people even got the Mario one, but I was a bit late to the table. I was a couple of months, so I got the Star Wing one. That's the one I got. But yeah, that's what led me over to play that one on the GameCube. And I agree, I would play if that came out on the Wii U. Definitely, I'd snap that up in a hurry. But I mean, before we started recording, I was looking at the release of the games that are due to be released, and there just really isn't much coming out for that console.
Mm.
That's what leads me to believe that either they've put this out to die, or they just really don't know what they're doing anymore in the console. I mean, they could be. What we're forgetting is this could be what they did back in the day when they were the leading platform, when it was them between Sega. Could have been a console came out and just, shovelware came out and people just soaked it up and bought it. I don't think they've really changed their whole model on marketing and, what they're coming out and how they promote it. That's the thing that I think they just haven't adjusted with the times. Because that console, the pad's alright, other than the fact of it dies before you have a chance of getting into a game. When it takes just as long to charge as it does to burn out the battery. So in essence, for 4 hours play, you're looking at 8 hours of 4 hours play, 4 hours charge. I don't know. I'm struggling with that machine. I really want to see what if Nintendo are going to pull some and say, here, this is what we're doing. It's all been a big joke. You've all been part of it. Now here we go. This is what we're going to release. But there's no talk of a new Zelda. There's the Wind Waker HD remake. Great, fine, that's okay. They've got Pikmin, which was always talked about as being a potential within the launch window.
Mm-hmm.
It was a launch game, then it was the launch window, and I believe the launch window is past now, and they said that was going to be 3 months. Wasn't it? Am I wrong there?
Pikmin launch window has passed.
Yeah,
Definitely.
from when they said originally.
Yeah.
Now I'm sort of feeling that a lot of gamers have been left high and dry when the top games that are still being sold for that, after talking to the friends that we know that work at game, are saying that the top games are still like the Mario, Zombie U, and things like the Assassin's Creed games, which the Assassin's Creed game, I've seen that running. That does look exactly like it does on the other consoles, but the only thing that the pad's used for is just like a mini map. From that's it. Nothing more, nothing less.
Don't get us started on Assassin's Creed.
No, I won't, because the third one done my fruiting. But I think I will
There's
say as well,
the new one,
the what, sorry?
Black Flag, whatever it's called.
The Black Flag. Yeah, I mean, it was to add something into on top of what we're talking about. The
Being Call
Black.
of Duty, that game.
Well, this is the thing as well. Apparently, Ubisoft were originally developing some fancy pirate game quite a while ago, and some people are saying that game got shelved. And what's happened is it's been rebranded as an Assassin's Creed game and had the Assassin's Creed stuff sprinkled through it.
No, you're not trying to shed like hotcakes.
Of course, it will. People would love the franchise, don't they?
Yeah.
Which everybody's entitled to. I know it's very deep and you have to play a lot of the stuff that goes on. Like I know you got to play Liberation. I know people have read the books to say you need to understand more what's going on with these characters. It's going to sell like crazy, but yeah, it was an annual iteration. It has been all the way back if you think about it for the last few years since the second game came out. There's been Brotherhood, all that type of stuff linked through it. But one thing we've noticed as well, what's happening with the Wii U, is we're noticing a lot of retailers, they're doing an unofficial price drop in Europe and in the UK.
Really?
Yeah, there's one thing I've spotted when I was down one of the shops and I was talking to one of the managers down there is even though that companies are making a loss on the hardware, and Nintendo are probably making about £5 a unit, there's a price drop coming. The game actually, there's rumours that go. Well, I'd say within the next couple of months, game are going to drop the price of the Wii U by a good 50 plus quid off the console. They'll make it more appetizing, so you'll pick it up with an extra game. Is realistically what they're doing. They're going to rebundle it. I don't think it's anything official from Nintendo, but I know retailers are definitely becoming a bit worried. Well, they are really becoming worried that the amount of units of these aren't selling.
Well, they should. Nintendo have done almost pulled a Sony and just kind of rest on the laurels and just release the console, hoping it sells well.
Yeah, hoping the word of mouth picks it up.
Yeah.
Definitely. I mean, you've got Ubisoft with Rayman Origins. They had that. Well, it wasn't Rayman Origins, but there's a Rayman game that was meant to be exclusively for the Wii U. And that's now been changed, hasn't it? Their concern is they won't make their investment back with the amount of units of console that have been sold, and therefore the date's been pulled back while they make it multi-platform release. So I'm just a little bit concerned about that machine. I've always liked Nintendo. I love their first-party stuff, but it's a very expensive hobby to actually keep up with just what Mario's doing and Zelda as well.
Well, there's not enough of them coming out. Nintendo's first party, they're not really pushing it. They're more interested in Wii Music, whatever. And if at E3 they've got people dancing on the stage again, they need to kind of leave the room that is gaming and just sit outside on the balcony waiting for a slow death.
Yeah. But they're also bringing out the Pokemon Wii U, which is basically exactly like Skylanders, where you'll be able to buy the little statues and play with all them on your console as well.
I do like the name Skylanders. It sounds like an early 90s cartoon.
Skylanders?
Just the name of it sounds like Skylanders, but I've never played it before.
But you're not going to go out and buy thousands and thousands of little statues. So when you see...
I go in gaming, it's like you've got there are all the retailers available. I go in gaming, you've got like Skylanders all down the wall, and it's just like it reminds me when you were a kid in the 90s, and there was always the craze, and just like you just look, but it's like endless amounts. It's like on the flipping till, posters on the wall full of toys, and there's the game in the corner hiding behind all the merchandise.
Well, that game isn't losing momentum either. I mean, I know guys with little brothers and kids and stuff like that where that thing's still selling. You know, they're still buying lots and lots and lots of those little statues. And I bet some of the kids don't even play the game. I bet it's just collecting and swapping and doing all that type of stuff. There's a lot of that going on with that.
I couldn't be bothered. Just play the game and just there you go. I wouldn't be bothered to collect all the toys and shit.
Yeah, but that's because, well, theoretically you're a grown man, but you know,
I know, but you think I'm not gonna go out and buy a flipping like the Assassin's Creed. I just cannot be bothered to read the books. I'd rather just play the game.
You'd rather slap a disc in and see what's happening next.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then just get a quick previously on Assassin's Creed. Like I don't think. Yes, it's a way of making money. Yes, it seems like fun. I've got to read the books to find out more. But like it's almost like you're playing the game and you're missing out. I don't like that. The way of marketing the thing. Marketing.
You got to get you to buy everything possible.
Yeah, I hate it.
Yeah, well that's it. I mean, one thing we'll come across and talk about is it's one thing I've noticed, and I know you've kind of noticed it a little bit as well since the announcement of the next gen. We did a little poll on Twitter on the Britcast feed, and we were talking to some people saying that now the PS4 has been announced, and we know it's coming at some point, and we know there's a new Xbox out there, that after we saw that event in February for PlayStation, we saw that the next gen's coming and this is what it can do, and this is a little hint of what the games can be, and these are the social functions, and these are the interactive functions you can do with your friends. I've noticed myself, I don't know if it's for one reason or another, we can happily debate that, but other people have told me they stopped playing their current consoles as much because of it. Have you had anything to do with that, Luke? Has that affected you in that way?
Playing... Now that I've seen the next gen, because a while I am a graphics whore, something as that. I play Crysis 3 and it looks amazing and really good. I'm like, I want to be playing that visuals, like Killzone visuals, and then although I know you're not okay on that, but to me it just looks amazing. It looks like a Pixar movie. And I want to play games where there's no flipping clipping or going things go through walls, where it's just polished to the nth degree, and I can play the game and enjoy it. I want because now there's no people might say, "Oh, where's the old games?" Like, if you want old games, go and play them. Games now face it and accept it because it's happening and become more like interactive movies.
Yeah.
And if they want to sell us that fantasy, I want things where they don't where a guy's doing the same run and move like Bruce Forsyth in the beginning of the Generation game. I want an actual smooth game, a really good smooth game. But before I do that though, I do it in my 100-inch telly, obviously.
Yeah, but this is some other people saying that now we've seen this generation for so long, we started to when the game's loading up at the beginning, you can spot the engine. You know what this game's going to be running on.
Yes.
And you can also see the same problems. As much as anybody tries to deny it, you can tell what engine. You know, I mean, like the wrestling game, for argument's sake, how that Havoc engine works. That's madness, how people get tied into the rope and become elasticated and get stretched like Stretch Armstrong across the bloody screen. That is always very, very amusing as far as I'm concerned. But it's what I mean. Everything is now creaking. These engines are creaking. We're seeing the flaws in the games.
Even in games like Mass Effect, like it looks, when you see stills of that game, it looks like an animated film. When you got the characters like talking to it looks so good. But then when in that game, there's so much clipping, and the textures don't load, and it just pulls you out of it straight away, and then it takes a little while to get back into it when the things go over well.
Yeah.
But I just even now on Crysis 3, these consoles are being squeezed for all the juice they have, and textures pop in now, and because games looking better and better, and they're still on this gen, the textures are popping and the games are not as well polished. There's even talk of clipping and graphics issues in God of War. God of War 3 was known for the level of polish in it, especially for PS3. And I just think, in order for when you have a game like Last of Us that's going to be controlled,
yeah,
there might not be, but there's still a chance of it. Like Last of Us, it looks like leaps and bounds above Uncharted. And I don't know. I just want the next gen. I want the next gen, so I know there's no chance of games buckling under the pressure of themselves.
Well, yeah, so brings you back then. Now you've seen the next gen. Has it made you see more flaws in the current gen then?
Definitely.
Yeah, that's what it's done with me. It's made me look to other platforms. I mean, people have been asking if I've been dead because my Xbox hasn't been fired up as much, but I've been going through everything that I've got on the 3DS. I've got quite a collection of games for that. Having a little playthrough, completing a few odds and ends on there. And then my beautiful other half bought me the Vita for my birthday.
Whoop, whoop.
Exactly, yeah. And JRPGs are something, since I got burned by Final Fantasy 13, I haven't really been back to that genre because there was just so much hype about this game being brilliant. And then when it came out, it wasn't. And then JRPGs have took a heavy kicking in the last couple of years about losing their quality. But then I've been playing Persona 4 Golden. That game is brilliant. On the Vita as well, a Vita game that can be played. And I've sort of branched out. I mean, it's made me look in other areas, which is good. You know, I kicked over a few rocks. Hey, there's a game here that I think I should play, which is great. But my Xbox is now just turned into, and Luke, I know you're going to enjoy me saying this, it's where I watch my TV shows now. That's where I watch.
Oh my god, it's happened!
It has happened.
Now you're going to stop tweeting pictures of, how dare they be on iPlayer on their Xbox.
Exactly. I know, yeah. It's one of those turncoat manoeuvres that I've done, and the humble pie moments that we've spoken about. But that's what's happened now. Now, I don't know if it was last week's show and we were talking about Crysis 3. Now, I'm going to go back on something I've said about that game. I was really, really enjoying it. Then I was sat there on like a 2-3 hour session, and I realised something quite quickly about how the enemy AI works. And here's Dave going on again about AI, I know, but still. When you decloak for a second, even if you are hidden behind shrubs or out of line of sight, if it isn't a solid piece of wall or a barricade, the enemy can see you and they fucking react rather quickly. And I then proceeded to break away from actually playing the game properly and do nothing but test this they said about merciless AI that would chase you down in some of the reviews that we saw and did.
Mm-hmm.
I just noticed that the AI would just triggered, say, if you decloaked and if you weren't behind a wall, they would automatically turn around and see you. I was walking behind people, decloaking and standing there for a second, and rather than them have them turn around to see me, it's like they fucking heard me breathing through my suit and snapped round and
I
attacked
noticed
me.
that. I was cloaked and I went past somebody while crouching, and the guy was like, "Oh my god, he's over there!" and he started shooting in the face. So then I quickly stuck him a knife in his neck.
Yeah, like I said, that's what I mean. I started noticing the cracks, and that was a game I was telling people to go out and buy, and I was enjoying, and it completely took me out of the experience. It just, and that was it then. I haven't really played my Xbox since, and it wasn't like it was a protest because we get download codes all the time for things. Like I ended up with a copy of the Grand Theft Auto 4 on the direct download, downloaded that. Went in there for a little bit, realised how bad does Grand Theft Auto 4 look now? Have you seen that?
It's embarrassing because when I come out, it was like, "Oh my god, the physics! Look at the city and the fucking how amazing it looks." And then you play it now, and it's like, it looks,
What the fuck
it
happened?
looks empty. It looks like where's everybody? It's really weird. It's 5 years old, Jeff. It's been
Yeah,
5 years. That's how far games have come.
yeah, it's that.
Skyrim just still looks impressive, but even that in a year and a half time, I'd be like, "What the fuck is this?"
Yeah, compared to things like how Crysis looks, and that's the thing. That it's ruined the idea of back catalogue for us. That's what it's done for me. It's
Is that what
fucking
it's really
knackered it.
done?
I don't know what it is. I think it's like I've been completely sucked in, like a sucker, with the marketing for the next gen. That everything I look at, it's crap. Can't play it. It's crap. Shit. Look at that problem. Forget it. Eject. Put it in the box and forget it.
Object. I object.
I do. I completely object to this. I'm not playing this. I quit, and that's what I'm doing. I'm not quitting out of multiplayer games for anybody pisses and moans at me at that one. But for the single player game, I'm like, oh fuck you. I'm not having that. I was doing this. It's like I outsmart the games now, and I know there's other people out there that think the same thing. You want to fucking do something because you've played so many games, and you come up with an idea of getting around, and you get hit by an invisible wall or something will stop you.
It's the game. It's like when someone hates losing and they wipe, if you play Monopoly, and they wipe off. They're just like in anger. They go, "Well, no one's playing the fucking game," and they just smash all the pieces off the board.
Yeah.
That's what Invisible Wall is. It's a game saying, "Oh well, you bastard, you're gonna do that. I'm gonna stop you from doing what you want to do."
Yeah, I know. I don't know what's happened to me. I don't know if it's because I've recently become a father or something like that, and my responsibilities are shifting. And I'm not going to back away from beloved games because my salvation is now the next gen. I need to see new engines. I need to see more multiple ways of getting around things. Like back in the day we were looking at Mario. You had jump and forward. You couldn't even walk back in the world of the original Mario game.
You couldn't. You were getting attacked, and it was like, "Nope." You
Yeah,
just like
no,
left at the
you're
mercy of a
you're
killer flower.
fucking staying here. That's what that was. You ain't going nowhere. And now we're in the world where we've got slightly open world games, and then you got open world games where you can approach things. But even in an open world game, if you look at it, you've got to kill this bloke that's in this area. Even though it's an open world game, the route you take to that location is your own decision. But when you get there, you can only attack from a certain amount of ways because there'll be buildings or walls, or he's got a certain amount of cover, so you can't get access to him. It's shit like that I keep seeing in all the games I'm playing. And that's why I've had a protest with my console. I have laid my pad down until something really pops up that I'm going to enjoy. And I've got high hopes for Defiance. High hopes for that game. I know a lot of people are out there going, oh, it's going to be a solid 7 out of 10 for what it's going to offer. But I need something different. I need something that's going to give me multiple ways of attacking an objective. Because at this moment in time, there isn't anything out there that's satisfying my thirst. It's like I'm a fucking crack addict and the
It
crack
really
is
is.
just
It's
no
like it's
good
something like
anymore.
your arm.
Exactly. It's
That
just,
is not a pap.
I don't know, but I've been totally engrossed in Vita now with Persona 4. That game is really, really good. When I was sat there playing it, Rich was watching me play, and I was at school, chatting with my friends, then we went out to the shops, and then obviously everything you do in that game levels something up, levels up one of your stats, like your knowledge goes up, or your courage level goes up if you eat spicy food. It's got that type of madness to it. But then you go into this other world where you kind of go into the other world when you go through the TV and you've got to go and rescue people. Now, the game looks so good because I know it's a PS2 game, it's been brought over to the Vita, but the actual game itself interests me enough, and the character interaction, even though it's got that very Japanese style to it, is keeping me hooked. And then this is what Sophie T actually said to me. This is very good, Luke. You'll be impressed with this one for Sophie, who's only recently got an Xbox. She said, maybe because when you got kicked off your PlayStation and they accused me of all sorts of things and they banned me for no apparent reason when the PSN outage was.
Fools.
I did my protest and I went over to Xbox and I've been back to Xbox for a long time after defecting. She said these words, maybe you have just had enough of Western developers and the games they produce.
That's like she was possessed for a second, like some like gaming guru.
It was.
Was it in a Chinese accent?
It was a little
Maybe
bit,
you
yeah.
have been.
Exactly. I was like, my God, maybe you're right. As I was sat there holding the Vita, going on about how much I was enjoying playing this JRPG. I think that's what's happened. I'm burnt out on the West and their games. Because they're all the fucking same. Right, we'll talk about at Pat Liver. We asked him a question, because he won't go anywhere near first-person shooters anymore.
Nowhere near them.
Point blank, fucking refuses. I know he
He was
listens
a fan
to
of
this.
them before as well.
He did like them, he enjoyed them. But military first-person shooters, never. The last game I saw him play was when I had my PS3 and play Mag. And since then, I've never known him to touch one. He's not been interested in Halo. You mentioned Call of Duty. You've got to look after yourself because you've got to listen to an hour of why you shouldn't play that game. Nothing will make him go back to that franchise. And he's like completely in love with his PS3 as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I was thinking, because P used to have an Xbox. And did he get fed up of the West and now he's residing in the East for all his gaming needs?
Snowball, Dave.
I think that's what's going on with me. It's like I need people to write in, tell me what the cure is, because I've fallen into the bosom of the Vita at the moment.
I need a gaming Freud to explain your behaviour.
That's it. Have I been completely sucked in with the marketing for the next PlayStation, the rumoured Xbox?
To be fair, for a person like Microsoft, you do sound intrigued more than I thought for the new PlayStation.
Yeah, I do. I'm interested in the next generation of consoles. One thing I was surprised as well is I noticed that Destiny, you can now buy a paid pre-order for it for the Xbox 360.
Boom.
I don't think you could do that. I thought they were free pre-orders. I thought it was just like you were registering your interest with that game.
So that's like a really confident push into saying, "I'll buy this now and we'll deliver."
On the Xbox 360, is that a console that was mentioned on?
A good point, actually.
I can't remember.
It's quite, that point completely over my head with that point there.
Yeah, rather than you hammer on your 9,000-year-old keyboard for everybody to listen to, we'll check and confirm that later on later on another day.
I have an iPod.
Oh, you have an iPod?
Silent. There are other tablets available.
Yeah. I don't have any of them. Fucking Apple everywhere. But I don't know how we digressed over to Destiny. Maybe because I am really excited for that game. And I did say I was interested to see about what it's going to look like for the next Xbox.
Well, it's going to have its own single player. And it's not going to be done Destiny episode, just one point. When you leave that game, while it's having like a single player style story campaign, does the world change while you're not playing the game and then you go back and there could be something else happening?
I guess so. If it's an online MMO. But they've said that it's going to be a different type of experience, isn't it? That's what we've all said about it being a next-gen game. Not just for a next-gen console. The whole thing about it is it's next-gen.
Which is a mystery because we don't even know what that means yet. When you look at this, like you've talked about GTA 4 and how much that changed. Like, when we look back at the first games coming out for this gen, we had Cameo, Lord of the Rings Middle Earth 2,
Yeah.
And then there was Oblivion that came out 2006.
Don't forget the graphic perfection that was King Kong.
Of course. And then, if you showed me a screenshot of Skyrim, Crysis 3, and Last of Us at the beginning of this gen, I would have been like, well, that's clearly just a film. That's clearly just like an animation or something. I would just it's changed so much. Like Killzone looks good at the beginning of the PS4 cycle. The games at the end of the next cycle is going to look insane.
Yeah, well, that's it. Hopefully so, anyway. And hopefully the actual gameplay mechanics have changed enough as well. Because like I said, I don't know if it's age that's creeping in with me, but spotting the flaws has definitely become a new fucking hobby when I'm playing it.
Well, you're playing the Crysis and you can just see the patterns and you think, well, this is what you do to defeat this. This is what you do to defeat this. It's no longer a mystery, like, oh, there's an enemy gonna hunt us down. It's, how's this being programmed and how do I find a loophole? That's like, it sounds so nerdy saying that, but that is my thinking now when I play a shooter. Like, what's the behaviour of this 3D character and how do I exploit the weakness? And it's not, what's that enemy thinking, it's what's the game calculating.
Because you don't get immersified. I don't get immersified in the world anymore. That I'm fighting, that certain type of a human being or an alien. If it's an alien, fair enough, because they're gonna be different each game, aren't they? With the backstory of them. But when you're fighting humans in games, it's like playing Uncharted. I've moaned about that game a lot. They have a pattern to how they shoot and attack you. You can just sit with your reticle, waiting for them to pop their head up, and then bang, take the head off.
Yes.
You can do that in certain games. In fact, you can do that in a lot of games.
That's why, to make it exciting, I would melee. And that's why in Tomb Raider, I would use the arrow, because it just changes things up. If there's a gunfight going on in Uncharted and you start just meleeing people, it just makes it so much more exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Changes it up a little bit as well. But I've noticed one thing with Crysis 3 as well, as much as I did enjoy that game until I had my little episode, as it were, that I didn't use any guns. It was all about using the
bow.
Yeah, it's all about the bow, isn't it, really? And tracking where your arrows are. That becomes half the mission. Trying to find those bloody things. The amount of times he's running around with like 4 left, and that's when you're rationing things,
I love the best ones are thermite one, and there's one that explodes straight away, but there's one what goes on the enemy, and like takes a few seconds to explode. And obviously everyone Dave knows how sadistic, like that I'm sadistic. So watching someone struggle and knowing that they're going to die, it's like just anticipation, just joy. It's like, yes, you bitch, you got no chance, bye. And then boom.
See, that is where you become very, very worrying.
But because it's a game where you're the hunted and you've got your prey and you just go and you hear the screams of a dying man and you clap to yourself. You think you'll have killed him.
You see, that's where they're deeply, deeply disturbed. We've said this before.
You just hear the oh shit. And
you're
like, yes, one down.
Well, that's it, exactly. One thing we should move on to as well is what we've talked about we're talking about the next gen. Everybody assumed that Microsoft were going to be doing some sort of reveal in March. There has been no talk of it, so I don't think that's going to happen. There's been no invite sent out to anybody. And now it looks like, just a few reports, there's nothing confirmed from Microsoft themselves, but a lot of people are now suggesting that Microsoft have no fear in the next PlayStation and are more than willing to wait until E3 to reveal the next Xbox.
Do you know what it is? This is one of the things where PS4, while they did have the child catcher on stage presenting the PS4, they did just like Sony have just presented what they have and they've left it. That's what they always do. But I do hope this now working in the field, because Sony is like the little nurse, like, oh, look what we've got, and Microsoft is like the jock, where it's like, take this shit in your face, motherfucker, and like it. And I want that person that is Microsoft to crash and burn because of their cockiness. I don't like cockiness being rewarded with success.
Yeah, I just think that they've. I think the reason why they've done that, personally, is because I think that all the rumours that their console wasn't going to be as powerful as the next PlayStation. I think that they obviously know the general specs of what that console can do, and there's games being developed for it at the moment that will work on it, that are obviously more powerful than what we've got at the moment. But I think they've pulled in, retreated a little bit, and retreat's probably a harsh word, but they're looking at making significant changes to what they're going to announce, I think. I think they're going to try and one-up.
Oh, they have. They've looked at this Sony presentation and thought, well, I'm going to tailor. I just can't wait to see some of the games on E3. When you're gonna think it's only happened once this generation, and that's the first BioShock, when the plane crashes and you're in the sea and I didn't play for like 20 seconds because I thought it was a cutscene, and when you start moving it was like, what? I want to see those kind of visuals next in E3. I want to see amazingness.
Yeah, well, you think Microsoft? Well, I think PlayStation can deliver that as well as Microsoft
Yeah.
can. They really, really can. But I think you might have it right there. We're saying that Microsoft are now going to come out as the big bullish jocks, going, "Bam! This is what we've got. We're going to do this, and this is what we're going to do." Because, well, apart from anything, there's not a lot of negative press that they can fuel off what's been said about the PlayStation.
I think they're trying their best, and they're trying what they do what they can to talk them down. But PlayStation didn't kind of present it in any kind of way or specific kind of tone. If you know what I mean, like tone of voice, like, "Oh, look, we've got motherfucker."
Yeah,
It's just kind of this sort of have.
for an analogy, it wasn't like PlayStation showed their hand entirely.
Yeah.
They just they raised the stakes.
It was like, it was like biding the time to see what Microsoft do. This is the game that's going to be now. Funny enough, the industry's playing the whole own game. It's gonna be that thing where they tease little things, and then it's either one's gonna go too early, and then show everything they've got, and the other one's gonna be like, well, this is what we've got.
Yeah.
Whoever shows everything first is gonna be the one that gets a backhand in the face.
Well, if Microsoft wait until E3, then they'll have no chance of retracting it because Sony are only going to be 3 hours behind them.
If PS4 is out this holiday, there's E3 and there's a Tokyo Game Show, which is Microsoft even part of that?
I don't think they went last year or the year before, did they?
E3 is the last chance you have of really showing what they've got.
Yeah. Yeah, I suspect so. I just find it interesting that they're now saying, well, rumours are suggesting that they're like, we're not bothered, we're just going to do this. It's good. You know, maybe they've got something with some Goliath type of system and all these new fancy type of settings. That's going to be really, really good. I hope that is. But now I need a really good console fight. I need a good console war to reinvigorate me. I'm still going to be playing games as much as I was. I'm just not going to be playing them on the consoles. I'm having a look at what the handheld world's got to offer now. Going to finish off everything on 3DS. There's a lot of stuff for Vita. Now I've got one of those. Obviously, I've played a lot of stuff in shows. Had dabble here and dabble there, and I've had access to them on quite a regular basis. But now I've got one, and I'll be taking full advantage of PlayStation Plus and the free games that you can get on there. I'm going to be digging around and seeing what the minis that are around as well. Just because I need to see something different. The AAA games are boring the hell out of me. I need to see these little unique.
Can you get Journey for the Vita?
Can you get what?
Journey?
I don't think so.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Well, I will be playing that as well. I'll be firing up the PS3 within me to see like a couple of those first party games as well. Yeah. Insert a disc into my chest between my ribs and fire it up. But no, I'm going to be doing that. Because that's what I need. I need a good console war. It's got to be done, Luke.
I know what you mean. Things are getting a bit dry now. It's getting a bit boring. I want there to be a reason. I want a reason. I want to have the PS4, for example, and then hate not having an Xbox. I want to have that kind of, I wish I bought that. There isn't that anymore because we've seen everything. I want that excitement again because 3-4 years ago it was like, oh, Metal Gear Solid 4's out. I wonder what the next thing's going to be from Microsoft.
Yeah. And it's dried up. They both need new IPs. And Sony's got a lot more, but they both need new IPs. That's what I'm going to continue to say. I just think this is I sound almost depressed, Luke. What's going on with me? But I'm not depressed. I'm still playing loads of games, but it's just we'll still keep the show going. It's not like I'm backing away from anything. I'm just having a bit of a rant, and it's fully allowed to be. Right.
Going back, I have to say this. When you said about the AI and you started talking about the AI, the segment name I thought of was AI. Don't believe it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
What? I missed that one.
That just happened. Anyway, what's next, Dave?
AI didn't believe. What are you on about? Are you on about my regional accent again?
No, just like AI. Don't believe it. Getting AI into the phrase I don't believe it.
Ah, right, okay.
It's a bad phrase. I'm sorry.
No, you lost me there, man. You lost me there. Where were we going next? Now you've completely thrown me. Yeah, we're going to go to the what you've been playing section, Luke. And what have you been playing, Luke?
I've been playing Crysis 3.
Oh, right, okay.
and it's good. Fucking hell, and it's very good. I'm enjoying it because in Crisis 2, when you were in New York, you kind of saw the
New
shit
York.
go down,
Yeah.
and in this you see the aftermath.
No, I've got really sarcastic.
Same as well.
Crisis
What's going
2,
on?
when I was in New York, you could
Yes.
see New York. And now in Crisis 3, you can see New York with a bit of vegetation. Fucking hell, these reviews you're banging out, mate. That's why they
been
get so many hits. 2 lines.
there's been some allotments planted in New York City.
Crisis 3 in New York, this time with plants.
Oh, fucking hell. Yes, Crisis 3. There is vegetation. New York City's been overtaken by trees, and there's lots of enemies and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. See, now we've thrown ourselves completely here.
Indeed, we have. Listeners,
Yeah.
indeed, we have.
So you like it then?
I do like it
enjoying the game,
because...
enjoying the visuals and the story. Are you enjoying the story though? More
Yes, it's
importantly.
interesting, because whenever I see a ruined city or a ruined place, I always wonder, oh, what happened? Why did that get to that point? And then in Crisis 3, he opens the shutters and you see New York all vegetationified and green. You saw that happen, so it's interesting to be able to see, oh well, I know what happened there, and then you kind of playing further on and seeing what happens further. But right,
Progressing the story.
yes,
Cool. And Tomb Raider. Do you want to give your views on Tomb Raider?
exciting, awesome, but I didn't care if Laura died or lived. It was
this is back to the Walking Dead thing, isn't it? You don't give a shit about the characters in the show. I couldn't care if they all got eaten. And now you play Tomb Raider, Lara Croft.
well, it plays like Uncharted, but like I like Drake and Sully and Elena. Tomb Raider, I didn't really care if the big fat Mohican dude like, got shot in the face with a shotgun.
Right.
I just enjoyed the game. The story was cool. It was like moved at a really good pace.
But you got to turn a young girl into a pedantic serial killer. So ideally, that should have been, you should have been.
Well, that was enjoyable seeing her like. But I did enjoy seeing her, like because she didn't die. It was like, well, how much more shit can she be thrown at? And then you had to like avoid branches going on her neck, which I did just kind of do on purpose, just to see it happen again and again, once or twice, just like, and then just like like a.
Bored on a Thursday evening, let's spike Lara Croft with a twig. Wink, wink, wink. Hey?
Indeed.
Yeah. Anything else you've been playing then? Other than Green Crisis 3 and like you, Lara Croft?
Nope, that's it.
Yeah.
Random.
Yeah.
I haven't been playing much else. Oh, yes, I did, sorry. War in the North, the Lord of the Rings game. And when you said about the backlog, like that game is enjoyable gameplay and it's a good story, but it looks shitty.
Yeah, I've got that. I downloaded it directly as well. I don't think I've played more than 20 minutes of it.
It's frustrating. It's like the enemies just like hard for the sake of being hard. You've got to like, you've actually got to play the game. It's old fashioned in its mechanics, I think.
I like that. It's fucking annoying because you've got to play
Well,
the game.
because it proves now that game's like, it's Tomb Raider, it's a good game, but it's not really hard. It's like you're pretty much led by your hand and then told where to go. And in every scenario,
Yeah.
enemies are there. Enemies are there not as a challenge, but just
obstacle.
as a way of just seeing what you can do with your arrow and your guns.
Fair play. Whereas
Bow and arrow, not just an arrow. You don't carry around an arrow and stab people. You have actually bought to fire it with.
Yeah. That generally goes hand in hand.
Indeed does.
Yeah. But you say the war in the North. See, yes. I played that. I had the guy with the sword, and I was swinging and and there's like 2 or 3 moves you can do in that. It doesn't seem like you can get too creative with the kills, but like I said, I didn't get that far into the game. We should co-op that if it's possible to co-op.
Is co-opable?
Yeah, should have a look at that at some point.
Yeah. Co-opable.
Co-opable. We've invented a new fucking
word.
You've
just earlier you said immersified. I don't even know. Is that a word?
Immersify.
That sounds like a death move. Immersify.
Yeah. Immerse yourself within something. Yes. So therefore I was immersified. I don't know. I'm clutching at straws this week. That's what we're doing.
Well, I know what there's something clutch at. People's questions. Way segue.
Am I allowed to talk about what I've been playing though?
Oh, I'm going then.
Yeah. Persona 4, I had mentioned that.
Yes.
And I've been playing the Uncharted game on the PS Vita.
Golden Abyss.
I have, yes. And I'm happy to say that as much as I've been doing all the platforming, I went into the options after nearly bending my new Vita in half over the shooting mechanics and found the magic button that said auto aim, which probably does about 80% of the shooting work for you. So I was quite happy with that. I went from turning Grimson and my hand sweating to, I kind of enjoy this game now. As opposed to, because I didn't realise when you move the Vita that the gun moves as well. And because I'm a constant fidget, I was moving around all the time while trying to shoot, create a scene. Why the fucking hell am I shooting trees? You know what I mean? I
Like you're dealing with dementia. What's happening?
Exactly, I was like shooting more raccoons out of trees and fucking squirrels than I was actually shooting the dudes trying to shoot me. But no, I mean,
that's an experience to be having when you're high.
Yes, I'll save that for another time.
Mm.
Yes, high gaming. Anyway, but yeah, I've been enjoying that. And like I said, I've been playing some of the games through on the 3DS. I'm definitely going to pick up Star Fox.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been going through all the 3D Marios that you can shake a stick at. I've got all of those to have a playthrough. And yeah, so like I said, in Crysis 3 I was playing it until I had my gaming mental breakdown. Far too much shrub. I saw one too many fucking shrubs in a broken down New York.
Do you ever had long hair before? Play Crysis, now he's bald. He's pulled
Yeah.
his hair out.
I had to hang up my bow and left my nano suit out to rust.
He put the control down and he left his where he lives, but it was all in slow motion. And it was like to some kind of American military music.
I put my bow down and backed away slowly from it, like an Australian wine, very carefully. Yeah, anyway, we completely lost the thread now anyway, but fuck it, we might as well move on to people's questions.
We have one by Mr. Owen Thornton, who's always...
Whoa.
What?
This Owen Thornton character has kind of pretty bizarre questions.
Yes, indeed. Prepare yourself, listeners.
Is this one just
indeed it is.
Special?
You know which one this is.
Okay.
It's me to you, to anyone listening. If you had the chance of fast-forwarding the next days for Bioshock Infinite, at the cost of all your... at the cost of all your genitalia being hacked away, would you? Because I definitely would. Owen Thornton, for the record, would have his genitalia painfully hacked away. He would take the pain of having his genitalia chopped off to then fast forward 9 days to play Bioshock Infinite. That is the weirdest question. Safe to say I wouldn't. I'd rather wait 9 days to have my genitalia intact.
Yeah. All I'm going to say as well is I know I'm having issues with repetitiveness in gaming, but I would not go through that just to play something new and different. Owen Thornton, you need help. You need help.
Let's have another question from Anneli Sorensen. Do you think EA will do a better or worse job with the new UFC game than Ukes?
No. No, I'll elaborate on that. I don't think they will. I think no. Jesus Christ. EA are a gaming juggernaut when it comes to sports franchises, aren't they? UFC game. They definitely... Are you just sitting there wetting yourself completely the whole time?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, EA are like a gaming juggernaut, aren't they? They've got so many sports franchises. They do a good job. They keep the fans happy. They sell tens of millions of copies across the board. I think now they've picked up the UFC game, I think they're going to do a good job of it. I think the last UFC game, was it Undisputed 3? I really enjoyed that game. I played it a lot. Had a couple of characters that were undefeated champions and all that stuff. So I really, really enjoyed it. But they have got a lot of work already done for that game. I hope they don't go in and try and completely rewrite it. Because EA had that MMA fighter game, didn't they?
I haven't played any of the fighting games, to be honest. The MMA games or UFC.
With the amount that you like to beat people half to death, you haven't played a UFC fighting game.
It's stage fighting, no. I'd rather be like a game like Tomb Raider where it's like you're hunting people.
Yeah, see, very, very disturbed. No, the UFC game was very, very good. I think EA had that MMA fighter game which didn't didn't look so good and it didn't play so good. So if they're just going to build on, I don't even know if Ukes are going to be partly behind the development for it, because I know they were joined up with THQ. Did Ukes survive?
Not sure, because this is the first time I've actually heard of Ukes.
Really, Ukes, fair enough. Well, they have existed. They made other wrestling games and the UFC games, but I don't know if they're going to be bring over the engine, bring over the detail of what they've done, and EA just going to build upon it, which isn't a bad idea from where I'm standing.
I think EA are going to use the brand and then just present what game they have, because they know that's going to sell money.
Yeah, littered with microtransactions.
Yes, indeed, all over the place. Like, buy a move for $1.
Yeah,
I'd buy that for $1.
exactly. So to answer the question, I think EA are going to do a good job of it. But yes, I think they will. We've got other questions. It's one question which is broken down into 3 parts.
It's like a trilogy.
This is a trilogy of questions. Okay, so I'm going to make you go first, Luke, because you've been laughing so much. You're now going to keep a straight face. You got to tell me which was the first game you played. Then you're going to tell me what game hit you in the heartstrings the most, and which one was most important. Can be 3 different games, can be all the same one. Let us know.
First game I played was Mario Kart for the SNES. I remember being about 3 years old playing it, or 4 years old. Just vague memories of that. The first game that pulled at the heartstrings the most is the Walking Dead game, and I can't even go into detail why, because it's not even a game I can spoil. I still can't even spoil.
That's the first one that's ever pulled your heartstrings, is in how long you've been playing games. A game that came out in 2012 was the first one that made your black heart beat. Is that what you're saying?
Well, no, the game before this is fucking Ares. When she got started, I was like, what's happening next?
In who?
Ares in Final Fantasy 7. It was the first game where I thought, that's a bit upsetting. But then I could play the game, so I wasn't really bothered then. But then, like, during the PS3 and Xbox, I was more kind of, let's play the game because they're exciting. And this game, this generation, I think, definitely.
Yeah.
Walking Dead, where sat and shed a tear, because I'm a soft twat, is Walking Dead.
Did you actually cry?
Tears did we shed.
More than one.
More than once.
A plethora of tears.
Yes.
But none over the TV show.
No. Nope.
Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, carry on.
And then the third question, which was most important game.
That's a tough one, because that's why I made you go first, because I've been trying to think of that one.
Probably it's Ocarina of Time, because everyone who does open world has kind of used that as a template.
Yeah.
The way the story is structured, like it's got the prologue, and then it's got the challenges when you're like building your character, and then you got the becoming the hero, and then you've got the challenges when you are the hero. And like every kind of game kind of follows that template. You start off as a nobody, you do something heroic, you're known for it, and then you complete the game as a recognised hero. Like in Skyrim, for example, you start off as a prisoner. You do something heroic, clear the dragon, kill the dragon, and then you're known as the Dragon Slayer, and it's that template that I think Ocarina of Time, in terms of games, like really, really, really kicked off.
Yeah. Cool. So I'll run through mine then.
And then
I like the way you sound so like enthusiastic for me to go on and. Yeah, the first game I ever played was Super Mario Brothers on the NES.
Whoa.
Because I petitioned my mother hardcore to get one of those when I was very young. I have covered
50 signatures, mother.
It was signatures. This many people are getting them in my class, and now I must be part of this sensation.
Oh, let's just go back there. When in them days, the consensus of the classroom was the most important thing ever.
It was, yeah. Peer pressure is beautiful. That's what it was like back then, and very important to your existence.
It was like, why do you need this? Well, clearly the only important reason is that other people in my class have got it. Mother, that is the argument.
That's pretty much how it was, yeah. But I had Mario on one cartridge, I had Tetris and World Cup Soccer. But Mario was obviously what the A button was pressed first on that original NES controller. So that was the first game I ever played. Now, a game that hit you most in the heartstrings? I don't know. I'm going to come back to that one. The most important game to me. Wow. We kind of went near the same concept, but I'm going to say back was the Mario 64 was one of my most important games because Mario 64 offered all that exploration and the variety of the levels as well for the time. I know people might say that when you look back at it, it's not, but for the time that it came out, it was that big exploration world. I know you said about Ocarina of Time and what it involved, but it was just Mario hit me more because I'm a bit of a sucker for the Mario games.
Mm-hmm.
That one hit me the most, and it's probably one of my most favourite Mario games. I know, like the one where the universe, is it Mario Universe?
Mario
Galaxy.
Galaxy.
Okay, no, I'm not on form today. It's not been since then, Galaxy is when we went back to it, because we had that Super Mario Sunshine, and I wasn't having those jetpacks, so I wasn't interested into that.
That was stupid, that game. It was like, kill the goo.
Yeah, it was. I wasn't really vibing with that one. But yeah, most important, Mario 64. And the game that hurt you most in the heartstrings, that's hard work, that is.
To be fair, the only 3 that have happened is Mass Effect 3, Walking Dead, and Journey.
For you, in
For me.
general.
Just them, like, where it's really, really, what? Profoundly emotional kind of thing. Them 3.
Because Mass Effect, you're right, that was like how that story progressed for me.
Not necessarily like kind of more like, but just like what was said.
I never make that noise anyway. But yeah, carry on.
But not like out like bawling tears crying, but just like emotional, like it made me it related. I related to it in a weird way.
Yeah, the Mass Effect is definitely one in there that hit me in the heartstrings. But there must have been games before. I mean, Red Dead Redemption, I had a lot invested in the Marsden character. You know, how that played out. You see, this is what hit you most in the heartstrings, because sometimes my heartstrings generally twang a lot on anger as well as love. Dark Souls, wow, that took me to special places. That game did.
It's like a 70s acid trip.
It was, man. The rage was I nearly used the force to melt my own TV with my mind.
Was it anger? Was it like rage of like?
Yeah, that was. If you've ever seen the TV stand, right? There are several cardboard cutouts that are stuck around here. In fact, I'll tweet them out at some point. Where it's called Mr. Duck, right? You got to follow me around with this one. Now, Mr. Duck emerged when Sophie, my better half, was in the other room or in a different part of the house and could hear me raging at games. Now, she knew that her phrase was she was not going to come and poke the bear. So what she did is she found a sticker book with loads of animals and found Mr. Duck and found different other farm animals that were telling me why I shouldn't get like that when I play games. And over time, I've gathered quite a collection around my TV unit of what Mr. Duck has to say about Dave shouldn't get that angry at games. But this all started with Dark Souls on the PS3. How the hell I got onto Mr. Duck evolving into Britcast. But people that do listen to the show that know me know exactly they're there. And some of that paper is faded now. Some of them are that old. And there's some newer versions there now. So that was one that took me to a special anger place. Mass Effect, I was investing in how the story was. With certain characters, when people died and all that type of thing. Yes, I was in that. And how John Marston, is it Marsden?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
In the Red Dead Redemption, how that story played out. I thought there was a big impact there. But in general, I don't really care about a lot of the characters that I'm playing with. I just play through the story. I'd say the one I'm playing at the moment, Persona 4, as much as some of those characters are annoying, because of the sort of the personal level you get to know them, I've got a feeling some of them are going to end up with their heads missing by the end of the story. So I'm going to preempt that's going to tug on my heartstrings when they die. So yeah, there you go.
Characters that I cared about really has been Uncharted characters, Mass Effect.
Yeah.
And The Walking Dead. Game.
Yeah, we know about that. But there we go. Right then. But Luke, I know you've got something to tell people, because you've got yourself a little voice acting job, haven't you?
Indeed I have. I'm narrating a sci-fi comic that's called Post-Exodus. And it's going to be 3-minute episodes, and I'm doing 42 of them.
Really? That's quite a lot.
And it's the first chapter of a book, and once the comic's over, it's like if you want to read if you want to continue, you can read the book. Might be doing the whole book, which I wouldn't have any objection to whatsoever. But, no, sounds good.
Are you going to be? Is it digital or is it going to be a real comic book?
Digital motion comic like the Iron Man one on Netflix, which is really good.
Yeah, like the Extremist one.
Yeah.
Okay. And when does it launch? When does it go live?
Summer. It's going to be a long process. It's just literally started.
Yeah.
He's got to do all the different comics and stuff.
Is the whole cast Geordie? Is it like...
It's one narrator. It's me. It's
just you?
I'm narrating. I'm not a character. I'm narrating the comic.
Oh, sorry. I wasn't listening. Yeah, narrating. That's cool. I just wondered if it was like Geordie Shore in space or something like that.
Geordie Shore.
Yeah, I was just
Murder
checking. Yeah, you see, there you go again. Last week Jason Statham, this week Geordie Shore. Murder, death, kill. Luke Riley. Be wary of a man in a flat cap. Be wary of a man in a flat cap.
E3, yeah. Like anyone gets in my way.
Exactly. Right. I think on that note, this show has descended into complete chaos this week.
Indeed, it has.
Indeed, it has.
I've had to mute my mic to laughing, which is a good sign.
So we best get off the airways and let these people get back on with their gaming. But any questions, comments, or anything else, Luke will tell you exactly how to get in contact with us.
There's my Twitter at YouGamers. There's Dave's Twitter at Remedy Live. There's at Britcast for the actual Twitter for the podcast. There is Britcast007 at gmail.com for the email address. And there is search for Britcast007 because the name was taken on YouTube. And comment, like, subscribe, share.
Yeah. Well, that's it. You can also find the link on our profiles for Britcast and Luke and mine. You can just slide across and click on the YouTube link there to watch the shows. And, of course, we will post and retweet the shit out of them when Mr. Root Riley posts them.
Which will be tomorrow, 9 o'clock GMT.
Which people don't know when tomorrow is, because when they listen to it, tomorrow.
Monday.
Yeah.
The 18th of March.
Because if you think about it, when people listen to it, if you say it's going to be posted tomorrow, that's going to really confuse people because they'll be listening to what you posted.
And that is why I am the Doctor. Because I deal with time travel and paradox.
Fair play. On that note, goodbye everybody. Thanks for listening. Bye bye.